I have found throughout my life that there's a certain look, there's a certain make and model to people who are super successful. They tend to arrive at meetings early. They tend to write things down. They tend to carry a to-do list. They tend to carry a calendar. And then there's a certain make and model of people who are perpetually late. These are people that refuse to submit to the tyranny of time management.
Calling all artists. We must rise at the break of midday. Let us go and wander downtown, looking for things to take pictures of. There is much to do, many seeds to plant. We are farmers, not of corn or maize. What we plant are the seeds of artistry. And we will not rest until our seed is spread throughout the world. We are artists, and we are really important. We will not be labeled, for we are individuals united together in our own group called creatives. We reject the mainstream. We join the millions who don their scarves in defiance of conformity. Our clothes reflect our uniqueness. That's why we all look the same. We are rebels. We cannot be bound by the shackles of time management. Together we rise up against the tyranny of responsibility and productivity. We must be free. Free to build our own furniture. Free to knit things that no one wants. Free to take pictures of whatever we might be eating at the moment. Calling all artists. Let us carry forth a flag of artsy stuff. Together we'll do photo shoots in abandoned warehouses. We'll run with flares in the middle of nowhere. We'll play musical instruments in the woods. Oh creatives, oh artisans, oh makers of all things handmade, let us run toward the movement. Bring your obscure music. Bring your fair trade coffee. Bring your 1880s facial hair. Calling all artists. Join the movement. Be the movement. Have a movement.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're talking about the power of implementing proven business systems and the necessity of having the self-discipline needed to actually implement best practice business systems that have been proven to work. And so as I was getting ready to record today's show, I was thinking to myself, I was reflecting to myself about this weekend. This weekend I went to Miami, Florida for a meeting that I consider to be very important. I try not to travel very much for business anymore. And so when I do travel, I try to only travel when it's absolutely necessary. And so this weekend, I felt it was necessary to travel out to meet with a very important contact for a very important business meeting. And so I was in Miami, Florida. And as I was in Miami, Florida, or getting ready to go there, I arrived at the Tulsa, Oklahoma airport, the Tulsa International Airport. And as I typically do, I get there 2 hours before my flight takes off, so that way I won't be late. And, I got there 2 hours early, as I normally do. And as I was going through the airport security process, where they have you take off your shoes and take off your belt and these sorts of things, I was looking around and I was discovering there's a lot of people that were late. I mean, a lot of people that arrived at the airport so late, in fact, that they had to rush through the airport security line. Now, I'm not a big fan of the airport security system and the TSA and the whole thing, but regardless of whether you're a fan of it or not, I'm really not a fan of the people that are arriving to the airport late because of a series of poor life choices that they have made, and then they impose upon everyone around them this urgent, borderline hostile, panicky atmosphere. It's the people that arrive at the airport late. They begin to act panicky, and then they try to rush everybody else through the airport security process, and it creates a really odd, panicky, tension-filled atmosphere for everybody at the airport. And I started thinking to myself, what kind of person has the ambition needed to book a ticket to go on a trip, but doesn't have the ambition needed to get to the airport on time? And I don't know what that is, but I have found this, that the clients that I'm going to celebrate on today's show, the clients that I'm going to feature on today's show, the successful clients that we're going to celebrate on today's show, these are the kind of people that get to their appointment on time. You know, as a business coaching client, we have a weekly coaching meeting where we meet the client every week at the same time, so it's a recurring meeting. And in that meeting, we do this thing called IDS. We identify, we discuss, and we solve the issues related to implementing the proven best practice business growth systems. And I have found this, that the clients that show up to their weekly meeting on time, those are the clients that are super successful. And the clients that can't seem to remember when the appointment is and they can't show up on time, those are the clients that live a life that is perpetually stressful. I repeat, the clients that show up on time are the clients that have a life that is very successful. And the clients that can't seem to figure out how to get to the weekly coaching call on time, those are the people who live a life that is perpetually stressful. And so as you think about the client success stories on today's show, and as you listen to the countless success stories that we feature here at ThriveTimeShow.com, please know that you too can have massive success, but you got to have the self-discipline needed to be on time. So if you're out there today and you say, what do I need to do with this information? We're going to get into a lot of details on today's show about how to grow a successful company. But step one, I would highly recommend that you always are on time. In fact, early. Just make that a thing that you do in your life, that you always arrive early for everything. Step two, make sure you have a to-do list with you at all times. You always want to carry a to-do list, so that way when you have new ideas or epiphanies or things that you want to remember to do, you write those down. So step one, always get there early for everything. Step two, always have a to-do list. And step three, use a calendar. Because having a calendar will cause you to have to reflect upon how you are using your time and where you're going to be and where you're not going to be. So this weekend, back to my Miami trip, I had a very important meeting at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So guess what I did? I blocked it in my calendar to be there at 10 a.m. Then I had another very important meeting I had to be at 6 p.m. So guess what I did? I blocked it into my calendar to be there at 6 p.m. And so by blocking out the time, I knew where I needed to be, when I needed to be there. And so even though I was in Miami, which is a place filled with a lot of distractions and beautiful beaches and things that we could be doing and maybe should be doing or people want us to be doing, I chose to honor my commitment and to be at my appointment at 10 a.m. and to be at my appointment at 6 p.m. I also had client meetings throughout the day that I blocked out time for. And again, I just encourage everybody out there, be the guy who's at the airport on time and early. Don't be the guy who, through maybe lack of planning or a series of poor life choices, who always finds yourself perpetually late to the airport, sprinting through the airport security line, trying to rush your way through and making everybody else's life stressful due to your failure to plan.
I'm Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. We do irrigation, tree removal, landscaping. We pretty much do it all. You know, I can landscape the heck out of a property. That's never really been a problem for me. It's gotta go. I've had a tough time with accounting, with my bookkeeping, but then I came up with this amazing system that has really been a game changer for me. This side of the dash here, this is all the invoices. This side of the dash is gonna be expenses. Then I've got any miscellaneous receipts or anything like that that goes in the back seat. Then, of course, anything tax-related. I don't even know what half that stuff is. But anything from ERS, that's going to go right here on the passenger side floorboard. I've even got a place for customer complaints. right out here. I'm kidding. Actually, it's not really the best to even open the windows at all. Blow everything around. Is it a perfect system? No. I can't use the defrost in my truck, which sucks. Having passengers, that doesn't always work out so well. But it's a small price to pay. We're meticulous. Every transaction matters, period. Okay? I mean, the system, that's what I love about it. It's virtually foolproof. Well,
oh yeah. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing the man. He's the man. The myth and the legend. The best-selling co-author of 8 books. He's a leadership expert. A sought-after speaker. He's the man with a plan, and he's on today's show. He's a business Yoda. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kevin Freiberg.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing the legendary best-selling author, the incredible, the wonderful, the one and only Mr. Kevin Freiberg. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Clay, and yourself?
Today has been a great day. Today has been every day, I think, as an entrepreneur is an adventure. But we had a lot of wins here, a lot of exciting wins in the Thrive Nation, and you being the pinnacle of the wins, my friend. So thank you for investing part of your day. Well, you, for the listeners out there that aren't familiar, I mean, you do these deep dives into what makes organizations and companies successful that are epic. You and your wife work on these books together. And I just want to ask you, when did it occur to you, or when did it occur to your wife that you two would team up to become full-time nonfiction business authors?
Well, I think a long time ago, I hate to say it that way, but I had a passion for being in the speaking business and realized that didn't want to just be a motivational speaker, wanted to do something that had depth and deep background research. Started that, and we launched it with a book called Nuts, and we just got so busy right away that Jackie left her role at the university and came to work with me, and we've been doing it really ever since. And she just makes me better, so I'm glad she made that choice.
You, when you wrote the book Nuts, the Southwest Airlines crazy recipe for business and personal success, that was, I believe, in 1997, I believe. And I had just started my first company called DJConnection.com in 1999. And my uncle, John Toon, flew. He was a pilot. He retired a pilot for Southwest Airlines. He was a Navy pilot, and then right after the Navy went to fly for Southwest. And I saw that book on his shelf, and I thought, I got to read this book. And so as I was reading the book Nuts, it blew me away how much access you had to Southwest, and it was so actionable. And I implemented a lot of the things I learned in that book. What inspired you to first study Southwest Airlines and to write such an epic deep dive book?
You know, you're insightful in that you realized we had some unprecedented access in that book. As you know, we just lost Herb Kelleher on January 3rd of this year, the founder of Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, I was sad.
Probably no more, there's no person in the world right now that Jackie and I would say has had a bigger influence on our careers, on our thinking about business and about life, really, than Herb. And it all started with, I was traveling in and out of Texas from Albuquerque with a Spanish boot manufacturer trying to establish a distribution company here in the U.S., and I flew on Southwest, and I knew I was going to go to graduate school and study business and communication. And long story short, I met a flight attendant who said, well, you need to come down to our company and meet Herbie. And I'm going, who the heck is Herbie? And the more she began to describe the company, the culture, and certainly the personality of Herb Kelleher, I just said, well, I have to go down and see him. And that's what started it all. It culminated in a doctoral dissertation back in 1987 for me. And 4 years later, Jackie wrote another one on a broader perspective of the company. But by the time we got to Nuts, we had written 2 doctoral dissertations and knew them pretty well. And we're just forever grateful that they gave a couple of greenhorn authors an opportunity.
Well, what I'd like to do, because you had such a deep dive access, such a all-access pass into the company, I would love to see if you could break down 3 Herb Kelleher notable quotables for me, ones that I have, in my office here.
Yeah.
First one, Herb Kelleher talked about, and I'm quoting Herb. He said, "Treat your employees like customers." Could you explain to the Thrive Nation what that means?
Yeah, early on, I actually cornered Herb one day, like you could ever corner him, right? But
right.
I cornered him and I said, Herb, who comes first, really, in your mind? The employees or the customers? He didn't blink an eye. He just said, it's always our employees. Because if you treat your employees right and you treat them like the internal customers that they are and give them the same kind of deference and honor and treat them with the same kind of dignity that you would a customer, they're going to take care of your customers. And guess what? When they do that, shareholders become pretty happy. So, he looked at it in a hierarchy of employees, customers, and shareholders. And I think he got that right.
Now, Herb also went on to say, he says, you don't hire for skills. You hire for attitude. You can always teach skills. That really impacted my business, djconnection.com. It helped us grow and scale the company before I sold it. Can you talk about what that means? Don't hire for skills and train for attitude.
Yeah, in their case, you can train people to be a gate agent. You can train people through, type ratings to fly a 737 and everything in between, to fix them, be a mechanic, be a res agent. But what you can't train is the character and the raw personality that someone brings to the business. And as you probably know, there are people who multiply, there are people who add, there are people who divide, and there are people who subtract.
True.
And they want entrepreneurial people who are going to multiply and add to the culture, because culture is their secret weapon. And it's their secret weapon because it's hard to replicate, right? We can fly 737s. We can, reverse engineer your training process for flight attendants and copy that. But what you can't copy is the spirit of the joint, the personality of the company, and that comes from the kind of people that you bring into the family. And so Clay, I will tell you, this is statistically true. It's easier to get into Harvard and Yale than it is to get into Southwest Airlines, because they have so many people applying. And when you build what Jackie and I call a branded culture, a company where the culture is as famous as the products and services that you sell. When you have a branded culture, then you have an opportunity to cherry pick, right? Because you have more people knocking on the door than you can let in, and you can afford to be incredibly selective. And that's what keeps the culture pure.
My uncle, who worked for Southwest Airlines as a pilot, he told me that at Southwest Airlines they have these three moves they do, and I said, "What are the 3 moves?" He said, "If you work at Southwest, you're funny, or you at least appreciate humor. You like to get stuff done, and you want to help lower costs." Could you talk about that? I mean, when they interview people, how do they find these funny, upbeat people that want to lower costs?
Well, they start with a psychological contract in the interviewing process, which I think is just the right kind of crazy, if you will. And it goes like this. If you're interviewing, they would say something to the effect of, Clay, if you want to come to work here, you are never going to have enough resources to do what we're going to ask you to do. But that's who we are. We're innovators, we're pioneers, and we take great pride and wear as a badge of honor doing more with less, finding a way to get great things done with limited resources. Now, if you don't like that, no sweat. We will always love you as a customer. You just may not be a fit as an employee. But if that kind of thing turns you on, then you may be a fit for us. And it's just one way that they can begin to determine, and people react to that kind of statement, right? They can start to determine whether or not you have the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that's going to add value to the company.
Well, Kevin, I want to tell you specifically how you impacted my business, because I know you wrote this book in 1997, and I sold the company DJ Connection in 2007. We grew it to be America's largest wedding entertainment company. DJs and entertainment sound lights for weddings. And so here are the four ways you impacted me, because I know you never get a chance to hear this from your people who implement your book. But one, you wrote about how Southwest only flies 737s. So I switched to where every system was the same, and it dramatically decreased my maintenance costs. It was awesome. Merit-based pay.
Yeah.
Paying people based upon what they do, not based on what they say they're going to do. So I implemented merit-based pay. Southwest went ticketless, and I thought, how can I go ticketless? I know what I do. I know what I'll do. I'll email people receipts, but I'm not going to invoice. Because back in the day, the wedding industry, you would invoice the mother of the bride. They would mail you a check, and it was this whole process of collecting the checks, and I went ticketless, so to speak. And then the funny overhead announcements. I thought to myself, I need to make our company funny. So we did funny on hold music, funny presentations, and it all worked. So I just want to tell you, thank you so much, man, for writing that book.
Well, thank you for taking it seriously and doing something with it and implementing it. That's, a lot of people read business books for insight and then they don't do anything with it. It sounds like you got tremendous traction, and because you executed.
That book was worth thousands. And I believe I bought the book early. This was I want to say pre-Amazonian for me. I think I bought this at Barnes & Noble. So I probably, if I bought the book for $25, did you make about $1 on that? Or how? Because I probably owe you.
Well, I hate to tell you, but yeah, that's about right. You don't make a lot of money on books, even if you sell a lot of them. You make your money elsewhere. But you know what? We write to have an impact, and you're music to my ears because you're the kind of person that we love to hear from. We want to have an impact. We don't write for our egos or our self-aggrandizement. We really want to deep dive into these companies to say, if we can move the needle for even just a few people in the lifetime legacy, that's okay.
I want to ask you this because the way you write, the way you wrote that book and the way you've written your subsequent books, it's very well researched. What is your process like for researching and preparing to write a book? What does that look like? Walk us through a few of the steps.
I just let my wife write them, and I edit a few words and take credit.
There we go. That is the tip.
Holy cow!
That is the tip. There it is. So,
No, I'm being facetious, but she plays such a critical role. I think that what differentiates our books maybe from others is we don't write about anybody that we have not been in, lifted up the hood, pressed the flesh, and really gone deep into the company and been there. I just this may be a little bit of an aside, but I just attended a lecture by probably the best journalist of our time right now,
Really?
Bob Woodward.
okay.
And he made a comment in his lecture. He said, one of the keys to investigative journalism is you got to show up. He says, we do so much of our work now via the internet, texts, and whatnot. And he said, there is just no substitute for looking someone in the eye, seeing the emotion in their face, listening to the tone of their voice, watching how other people react to them when you're on site in person. And so part of our process has always been to show up and say we're not going to write about people that we've just researched on Google or whatever. We have to be there and know them. And we've turned down a lot of books, frankly, over a 20-year period. We just turned down one from a major company just because it just didn't feel like it was going to be a fit. So part of it is show up. Part of it is you have to get some kind of sense that this company is living a message that you're passionate about and want to portray out there. Because, Clay, I'll tell you, it's pretty lonely when you're sitting in your office looking at a blank computer screen that you got to turn into a chapter.
Right.
And then into 14 more chapters. So you better be passionate about what you're writing about, or it's just not going to come across. So that's where we start. We start there, and then it's really kind of an evolutionary process to say, okay, what are some of the major themes that are unfolding from this deep background research, and how do we start to craft that into a framework for a book?
Where do you write your books? So do you have a man cave? Does your wife have a woman cave? Are you in a cabin? Are you on a boat? Where do you like to write your books?
Jackie and I both write in our offices and on airplanes, I would say, are the two primary places. You know, it's interesting. I get more work done on airplanes probably than I do anywhere else, because I can just put the headphones on and, you know, put my nose to the grindstone, and you're not interrupted by phone calls and emails and all those other things that happen to all of us during the course of the day. But so we write on airplanes, and we write in our offices just because we have at our fingertips, I don't know, a library of probably 3,000 books that we can look at, pull from, be inspired by.
Do you work out of your house, or do you have like an office that's separate from your home?
We have not always. We tried working out of our house for a while and just said, not sure why we are doing that. No one, you know, our work is outside. Even our speaking work, we're traveling to the client. So, long story short, we found a home that had a couple offices already in it in
Cool.
a beautiful part of San Diego, and that's what we did. We bought the home based on the offices.
That's great. That's awesome. I think that's an insight. People always want to. I think there's a lot of aspiring authors that listen to our show who want to know. They're always curious about where these great literary works come from. Now, on page 14 of the book Nuts, I have some things I highlighted there, and you wrote, or maybe Jackie wrote, and you took the credit for. Somebody wrote, Southwest Airlines was the brainchild of Rollin King, a San Antonio entrepreneur who owned a small computer air service, and his banker, John Parker. Parker had complained to King that it was inconvenient and expensive to travel between Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and suggested starting an intrastate airline. That right there, I did not know that when I read that. I'd love for you to share more about this story and why these two guys went from just having a conversation of, we should start an airline, to why they actually did it.
Yeah, Rollin had the idea. Herb was a young, very young at the time, brilliant attorney. He had grown up in New York but moved to Texas. And they just said, this is a market that isn't being served. And I think it emanated from both of their egalitarian spirits. It was like, you know, in those days, flying was an elite thing. It was for the people that were wealthy, for the most part. And they said, well, what if we go left on red here and fill a part of the market that isn't being filled? And what your listeners today may not understand is that Herb Kelleher Incorporated, after they had the famous discussion where they drew a triangle on the napkin, which was their first route structure between San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston, Herb was 36 and incorporated Southwest Airlines. And for the next 5 years, they had 143 judicial and administrative proceedings all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court because three major carriers, Braniff, Continental, and Texas International, colluded to keep this little upstart from ever getting off the ground. And the more they fought, the harder Kelleher dug in. And it was an affront to his spirit of his egalitarian spirit. It was an affront to democratizing the skies. And if they'd have just left him alone, I'm pretty sure that the Southwest would have just bled money and gone away. But what they did was they confronted Herb Kelleher's fierce competitiveness and sense of idealism. And then Southwest Airlines was born. What's very interesting is those three carriers are gone today.
Right.
And Southwest is the most successful airline in the world.
I am glad they're gone, too. They were not fun to fly on. Now, I will say this because I mean this sincerely. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I moved to Minnesota about the age of 12. And I remember saving up all my money, Kevin, when I was 13 years old to fly from Minnesota back to Tulsa to visit my friends. And the tickets then were more than they are now. True story. So I have a big appreciation for Southwest because they have dramatically lowered the cost of traveling everywhere. I mean, the prices of flying are so low now. I mean, it used to be something that only the elite could do, and now it's very, very affordable. Could you share from your perspective, looking at it and looking at all the data and spending years researching it, about the impact you think Southwest has made on just the mobility of the average American and the lowering the costs of flying?
Yeah, it's one of the things that totally impressed us early on with them, and they, they have really taken that whole cost structure, low fares or low cost to create low fares, and made it a cause, a noble, heroic cause, and they would call it the business of freedom. And I'll tell you what that looks like. When we were doing the research for this, we had a 20-something-year-old ramp agent. Probably didn't have more than a high school education. I don't remember exactly. But he said, Kevin, we don't have statistical significance on this. He's looking at the researcher, right? He says, we don't have statistical significance on this. But I can tell you on average that about 1 out of every 7 or 8 of these little Disney pull-along bags that we put on a belt loader and load into the belly of the airplane comes from a child in a broken home. And if we don't put these bags on the airplane on time, and we don't turn this airplane, back in those days it was 10 minutes, now it's more like 25. If we don't turn this airplane on time, that means that we're going to have to put more airplanes in the system, which means we're going to have to find the money to pay for those airplanes, which is going to come out of ticket increases, the cost in tickets. And that little boy or little girl is not going to be able to fly between mom and dad, who's geographically separated. And that's an affront to the business of freedom. And I thought, my gosh, if a 20-year-old ramp agent gets it at that level, and they create a critical mass of employees who understand the movement and the cause behind the movement, that is their secret sauce. That's a very powerful concept.
The 10-minute turn, one, to get it on a deep, passionate level, that's one thing. That's getting a 20-year-old employee to be engaged. I mean, according to Gallup, they say, 67% of American employees are not engaged at work. You've seen the research. So to get somebody 20 years old to be engaged, that's powerful. But then to pull it off, can you explain how the 10-minute turn, I don't think maybe some of the listeners are familiar with that terminology. Can you explain about the 10-minute turn and then why today it ultimately is a 25-minute turn?
Yeah, they, as I said, all these judicial and administrative proceedings all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court bled the company dry. They had $143 in the bank.
Wow.
And Herb Kelleher, who was the lawyer at the time, said to the board, let's go one more round with these SOBs. I'll do the legal work pro bono because we're not going to let them get by with this. Well, Lamar Muse, who was the CEO at the time, they were flying 4 Boeing 737s, and Lamar figured out that if they could sell one of those for an $800,000 profit, they'd keep the cash flow going for a few weeks. And so they went out and did that. They sold the airplane, and now they had 3 737s, but they went out to their ground crews and they said, guess what? We're going to maintain the same schedule with 3 airplanes that we did with 4.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody said, how are we going to do that? They said, well, you're going to have to figure out how to turn an airplane in 10 minutes. The average turn time for an airplane in that time frame, in that day, was 45 minutes.
So plane lands,
and
and you've got to refill it. The plane lands, clean it, refuel it, the whole thing, and maintenance check it in 10 minutes. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Everybody, the person that takes care of the lab, the provisioning, the fuelers, the gate agents who board and deplane passengers, the people that drive the tugs, all that comes into the plane, happens simultaneously. And
awesome.
So they said, yeah, figure out how to turn an airplane in 10 minutes. And everybody said, how are you going to do that? And they said, we don't know, but we know you're going to figure it out, because if you don't, we're going to fire you. And this was in the good old boy days of the airlines. They said, if you don't figure it out, we're going to fire you and get somebody else in here that can figure it out. Well, where would you go if you wanted to figure out how to turn an airplane with all that activity in 10 minutes? They drew inspiration from the pit crews at Indy. Because what happens with the pit crews in Indy is the driver comes in, hits a mark, right? And who comes in? The pneumatic wrench person that pops the tires, the
Right.
Gatorade person who sticks it in the window, the windshield wiper, the people who jack up the car. Boom, boom, boom. It happens in 6.2 seconds, and they're out of that pit and on, and the races are won
Yeah.
in the pit, not on the track. And so Southwest said, man, if we can station an airplane to hit its mark, the chocks, that hold the wheels, on time, and all these people can come in simultaneously, the lab, the gate, the fueler, boom, 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 we can turn an airplane in 10 minutes. And that gave birth to the 10-minute turn, which was just a phenomenal innovation at that point in time in the industry.
Which, by the way, gave birth to the DJ Connection 15-minute turn. We had all of our disc jockeys, up to 80 per weekend, loading up their equipment every 15 minutes. I couldn't get down to 10 because, hey, these guys were just flying airplanes. I'm loading out DJs, right? It's much more complicated to load DJ. I got down to a 15-minute turn.
You really did take this to task, man. That's awesome.
No, I did. I implemented everything in the book. Everything. Yeah. The competition for the funniest announcements. We had a competition for the best. The bride who reviewed our DJ as being the funniest guy. I mean, we took the whole. I mean, this was like this book. I have so many notes. Someday when you come to Tulsa on your next tourist visit to see our sod farms, I will show you the copy of your book that I have desecrated it or edited it or taken so many notes in that book that really it's kind of unethical what I've done to your book. But it helped me so much. It was awesome.
Dude, we're going to send you a gold medal for the best implementation of nuts. I've never heard anybody take it to a task like that.
Oh, you're gonna love this. At some point, you got to come to Tulsa. I will show it to you. It is the best. The entire company, DJConnection.com, that I no longer own. It's in all these different cities. Probably 75% of it was stolen from that book. Now check this out. In your book, you talked about how the company spent half of their budget, half of their $700,000 budget in the first month, and so they needed to create word of mouth that would really take off. So what I did was after the bride's wedding, it was highly illegal, by the way, Kevin, but I would send the brides a copy of all of the songs I played at their wedding on a CD with a Outback gift certificate that I worked out via trade out. And I took a photo from the photographer and I put it on the CD. So after your wedding, you get back and you got a $40 gift certificate and a CD of all your music. And brides just would refer me to everybody, and it was awesome. Because my wife and I had 3 jobs. We're working at Target, Applebee's, and DirecTV. I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. Vanessa's working at Office Depot and Oral Roberts University, and we turned off the air conditioning to afford advertisement. So when I read this, I was like, how's he going to do it? How's he going to do it?
Oh,
Can you explain how Southwest did this? How did they, what kind of outrageous stuff did they do to get people talking?
Well, one of the big things they did was, I think it was, they had a $19 fare between these 3 cities.
Yeah.
And the major carriers, Brandon, Continental, Texas International, all came in and said, well, we're going to do it for 15, thinking that they could create a price war and push them right out of the market. So Southwest knew that they had a lot of business travelers flying that were on an expense account, right?
Right.
And so they said, no, buy the ticket from us for $19, but we'll give you a fifth of whiskey or vodka or whatever your libation of choice is, free with your ticket. Well, all these guys are on expense accounts, right? So they're just going to expense the $19 to their expense budget and go home with the bottle of whiskey. And for, I think, 45 days or thereabouts, Southwest Airlines was the largest liquor distributor in the state of Texas.
Wow.
But like you, it created that, if they'd had the internet in those days and social media, it would have gone viral like in a nanosecond. And it went viral anyway because everybody got excited about it and said, that is such a hoot.
Talk to me about the outfits worn by the early flight attendants, because those were also quite those stirred quite a controversy.
Well, they would. Today, this would just never fly. It would be considered sexist, and they'd probably be eaten alive for it. But in those days, they had hot pants. They had flight attendants that wore hot pants, and they hired pretty attractive people. And as we talked about hiring for attitude, people with a personality, big personality. And so I think people got on the airplanes and they said, man, these guys are different. You know, most of these other airlines are stuffy and they're sterile and it's no fun and it's all business. And these guys are like fun and wearing hot pants and wearing casual wear. And they just, you know, when you get on an airplane like that, it relaxes the whole environment for you. And people who travel a lot, right? I mean, we're on airplanes every week. We get work done, but let me tell you, it's a stuffy environment on most airlines. And if you can get on and somebody can say, we want to take the edge off for you, man. We want you to have fun on this flight. Well, who are you going to fly? You know, the stuffy one or the airline that sings their safety announcements? And so I think that was all born in those early days when they allowed flight attendants to wear hot pants.
Now, you in your book, I mean, that book, just that book, if you're out there, Thrive Nation, and you do not invest the, $25 to buy a copy of this on Amazon.com. Andrew, buy another one right now as a thank you gift here. Buy another one. Andrew's going to buy another one right now as we're doing the show. Andrew, are you buying the book there? Are you getting it right now, Andrew?
Buying the book.
Okay.
Here we go.
If you're out there listening today and you buy this book and you implement even 1/50th of what is in this book, I promise you it can dramatically enhance your book. And you could have sat there and said, Kevin, you know, I wrote that book. Things are good. I'm just going to sit back in a hammock and no, you moved on, and you guys have written some unbelievable books. I would like for you to kind of steer the conversation for a moment. Of the books that you've been writing recently, can you kind of walk us through the books you've written since then? And because most of our listeners are entrepreneurial. They own a business. I'd say the average listener owns a company. What are some of the books you've written that you would recommend that our listeners check out, and why?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Southwest kind of ruined us, I will tell you, because they tell their own story so well that we just, you know, we documented it. But what it did for us is it created a paradigm, if you will, or I think a research agenda that said we want to go after companies that are doing things in the marketplace that everybody else says can't be done. Right. So really cool renegade companies that are winning when everybody else thinks there's no way you can do that. So that's the theme that rolls through all of our 8 books. We've written a book called Guts that highlights a whole lot of companies similar to Southwest Airlines, one of which is GSD&M, Southwest Ad Agency, who is every bit as creative and renegade-like as Southwest. That's a collage of a number of companies. He wrote forward. We wrote a book called Nanovation about a company in India that built a car for U.S. $2,500. And the cause of the car was, if you travel in India and many of the third world countries, you'll find that families of 4, 5, and 6 ride the same motorcycle and the same motor scooter, and 100,000 people die every year on two-wheelers in India alone. And Ratan Tata, one of the great industrialists, one of the great entrepreneurs of India, said, what if we could build a safe, affordable car for just slightly more than the cost of that motorcycle?
Get out of here. That's
and no
awesome.
one thought they could do it.
Yeah.
No one thought. Everybody said it'll be an apology car. It'll be a piece of crap. You'll never get it done. All the U.S. and global auto CEOs kind of laughed at this project. And long story short, they developed the Tata Nano. It's a 5-seater. Jackie and I have driven it on their test track in India. And it sold initially for $2,300 US, got 55 miles to the gallon.
Really?
And was really an incredible story. The car has since not done very well, so I want to be honest with your listeners, and it has not done well for a variety of reasons that we probably don't have time to unpack right now, but it was still an incredible engineering feat. And so Nanovation talks about that. And then racing forward, I'll just give you one other. Our most recent book has been with our dear friend, Bruce Bochy, who won 3 world championships managing the San Francisco Giants. And he is as Herb-like as any leader we have met. Cares about his players, doesn't see them as just tradable commodities. and took a roster that on paper really could not compete with some of the other
True.
Major League Baseball teams like the Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees, and won 3 world championships in 5 years. And it really is not a book about baseball as much as it is a book about business and team chemistry, and how do you get a team to gel, because he's a master at it. So that's a little bit about what we've been up to over the last 20 years.
Now, there's another book that you wrote that I have stolen even more ideas out of. This book, I think you can buy this book, Andrew, again on Amazon. We can buy this book for $20 right now. And if you implement even one thing in the book.
Do I need to send Andrew a check? Here,
no, I'm just listen. Our listeners. I'm not going to go as far as to say that, hey, if you're listening today and you're not a knucklehead, you should buy this book. But I am going to say, I would strongly suggest you go without 3 Starbucks beverages and purchase this next book, Cause. This book, Cause. Tom's Shoes, Lululemon, Virgin, Southwest Airlines. So this book, can you explain to listeners what this book is all about? Because it does a deep dive case study on so many great companies. But what's this book about at its core?
Yeah, the major company, again, we went deep and broad, was a client group. They are the fastest, most successful growing insurance company in the nation today. And you think, wow, insurance, man, is there anything more boring than insurance? Insurance is kind of like a root canal. It's, it's necessary, you need it, but nobody wants it, right?
Right.
These guys have just done an incredible thing. But the premise of the book, and I think this is true for all of the entrepreneurs that are listening to your show and follow you, if we can, every business we think can be driven by a cause if you dig deep enough to find it. In Southwest's case, it was the business of freedom. If you can find that cause and get people caught up in it, what follows is a movement. And here's the thing about movements. People opt into movements. They don't have to be hornswoggled. They don't have to be hogtied. You don't have to put them in a headlock and get them to, quote unquote, buy in. They're already in because their personal values so identify with the values that are driving the cause and ultimately creating the movement. And so the question we ask in that book is, what if you stop talking about your company as a business and a corporation? What if you could talk about it as a full-blown, noble, heroic cause that drew people in, opted people into a movement? Think of the competitive advantage of that. You quoted earlier the Gallup statistics. 75% of the workforce is either disengaged or actively disengaged, which means they're sabotaging what's going on in the business.
Yep.
So our view, Jackie's and mine, is that, over all these years, we really haven't cracked the code on engagement, because the engagement statistics have not really changed in 20 years since Gallup started doing that survey. And I'm not here to tell you that we think we have the silver bullet, but we think it is a silver bullet. And that is, when you lay your head on a pillow at the end of the day, don't you want to know that you moved the needle? Don't you want to know that you made a contribution to your business? Don't you want to know that you did something in your work that made the world better? And that might sound like Pollyanna and idealism and apple pie to your listeners, but if you really talk to people, that's what they want in work. They want meaning, they want significance, they want to lay their head on the pillow and know they moved the needle.
True.
And so our answer to that is, in the book Cause, is figure out what your cause is. Find a cause that's worth devoting all the resources of your company to, and people will opt into a movement, and you can kick ass and take names.
At Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge, it's like a country club meets men's hair. Every time that we cut someone's hair for the first time, it's a membership model. So the first time you come in, the haircut, it's paraffin hand dip, hot towel treatment. People love it. We have 4 locations. We're about ready to open up our 5th one. This is 7 years into business. But your first haircut is $1, and we donate that $1 to a company or an organization called Compassion International that feeds kids in third world countries and provides them. It's a wonderful organization. It's education and food and nourishment and clothing. And then one of the other businesses that we're involved in from a consultant level is a company called OxyFresh. And OxyFresh is the world's greenest carpet cleaner But what John, the founder of OxyFresh, decided to do, we discussed it quite a bit, was to every time that you schedule online, as opposed to calling in, they make a donation to water.org, the organization that's represented by Matt Damon that drills wells in third world countries.
Yeah.
And as a consultancy, I encourage every single business owner I work with, I say, find a give back, find a cause that matters more than just profits, because at the end of the day, what you said is 100% correct out there. And I think a lot of our listeners out there are on the fence. They're going, okay, do I pick up cause? Do I buy bocce ball? Do I buy nuts? I mean, I might say, you should buy all of them and never go to Starbucks for the next month. But somebody says, I'm on a budget and I still need my caffeine. I would say, get instant coffee, get the off-brand. It's okay. But someone says, no, seriously, I'm down to my last $25. I'd say turn off the cable. But if they were down, if they had to choose one book to buy, one of your books to purchase, to check out, what in your mind is the book that all the listeners should check out?
Well, that's a hard. Thanks for asking the tough question, because you devote your life to all of these. But I think I'd have to land where you did. The book that probably has meant the most to us in terms of our philosophy and what we believe, because we think we're all wired for it. We think we're created in the image of a creator who's adventurous and entrepreneurial and innovative, and we're wired for significance. We're wired for meaning. And if you can help people find that cause and build that movement, then you are doing something great, not only for your business and for your employees, but great for the world in which you operate. So I would land on cause.
Final two questions I have here for you. You are a guy that comes across as very well read, as your businesses, as your books have done well, and your speaking has done well, and your businesses have taken off. How do you organize? How do you stay on top of it? How do you organize the first 4 hours of a typical day, and what time do you wake up?
We're usually up by 5:30, I would say. I've got a son that commutes 40 minutes to school. We split our time between San Diego and Sundance, and we're at Sundance during the school year because our son goes to high school 40 minutes away. So we're usually up getting him out the door. My day begins with reading and prayer. It's just where I am. I just believe that we've been given gifts and talents, and so I start my day by just kind of consecrating it to God and saying, I'd like to just get in sync with your agenda and what you're doing, where you're going, and help me figure out what that is. So that's my first hour or 90 minutes of the day. And then usually we're either on an airplane going somewhere or we're hunkered down trying to work on the next project. We write a column for Forbes now, and so that's a big deal for us. And so I would just tell you that most of our day is spent writing, and I'm married to a workoutaholic, and so somewhere in that day I find a good workout, because if I don't, I'll never keep up with her.
Yeah, your wife stays super fit, by the way. That's unbelievable. Does she just eat? Does she eat a diet that consists of just kale and then kale?
Well, the Sundance Institute did a film last year in January, and they had the world's strongest man, the top cyclist, 39-year-old cyclist who was kicking the butts of every 19 and 20-something, a couple football players, all these world-class athletes. And the thing they all had in common was they'd gone from a carnivore diet to vegetarian to vegan, and my wife became a vegan. And I'll tell you, it's been a pain in the butt to go to a restaurant with her, because not all restaurants are vegan friendly, but she does eat pretty healthy. Now, I will tell you that has not bled over into my diet. I'm still a pretty normal guy.
Okay, so you eat, you try to eat healthy, but you're not vegan at this point.
No, I'm not. And she's not evangelistic about it. It works for her. But we are people who take care of ourselves because we'd like to be productive for as long as possible. I have no interest in retiring. I would like to, if I could die on a stage somewhere imparting some pieces of wisdom to people and just take it straight into the wall, that'd be good. I think we're here to be used and use our gifts and talents. So that's what I want to do. But to do that, you kind of got to stay healthy, right?
Right.
Or try to, at least.
Now, my final question for you that I'm very curious about is we've interviewed the founder of Ritz-Carlton and Lee Cockerell, who managed Walt Disney World for years, and then Wolfgang Puck, just so many big names. And all of you have these little idiosyncrasies that you do. They're kind of superpowers, kind of things that you do that no one else does that are kind of, a little bit interesting. Like I wear the same clothes every day, the same outfit every single day. And people go, why do you do that? Can I ask you, do you have like an idiosyncrasy that you could share, or an interesting belief you have, or maybe something you don't do that everybody else does?
Well, I don't want to steal from you, but I learned a long time ago that when you travel as much as we do, and you're in front of as many people as we are, you can just simplify things. And so I have a signature shirt I wear to go speak in. And I've got about 5 different versions of that shirt, but that is my attire. I don't shake it up a lot because it simplifies my life, and I don't have to, when you're thinking about trying to bring a message to people and you want to touch their hearts and get in their heads, I just don't have time to be thinking about, is my attire right? Am I dressed accordingly? So I just kind of picked a signature attire, and that's what I do. So I'm kind of boring in that respect.
Well, on this audio-only podcast, I can just say on behalf of the Thrive Nation, you are looking beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I'm not sure with all the great people you've had on this show. I feel pretty honored that we got thrown in the mix. I don't feel worthy, but I feel honored. So thank you for of all the people that we've been interviewed by and get on the radio and podcasts with. Man, you're a shaker and mover, and I love that about what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
Your listeners are fortunate to have you.
Well, thank you so much, my friend. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks for having me. Great talking to you.
If you are out there today and you learned a few things during today's show, I would encourage you to put them into practice as soon as possible. Take these ideas, catch these ideas, write them down, and figure out how you can implement them in your company. One big idea, the simplification of everything. At Southwest Airlines, they only fly and maintain and service 737 Boeing jets. Think about that. They only work with one kind of aircraft. And if you read the book Nuts, it explains to you in that book with great detail why that's a competitive advantage for them. They've also simplified their business model by getting rid of assigned seats. So they no longer have to mess with that. It allows them to be more efficient. They've also differentiated themselves in the marketplace by not charging you to load your bags. They have merit-based pay in place. There's so many things that Southwest Airlines does right, and I would encourage everybody out there to have a copy of the book Nuts, or to at least implement the following 2 action items. Simplify, simplify, and simplify. Ask yourself, how can you simplify your business model? Because simplicity scales and complexity fails. And 2, introduce merit-based pay. Merit-based pay into your company in some capacity. Don't pay people based upon what they say they're going to do. Pay people based upon their actual performance, and you will find that your company will grow. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
Hello, I'm Wes Carter. I'm one of the shareholders at Winters & King. My favorite thing that Thrive has helped me accomplish here in our firm is thinking a little bit outside the box. They do SEO, they do printing, they help us with a lot of things from the day-to-day marketing for the firm, but they also help us think of things that as attorneys we probably wouldn't normally think of that help us market our services to our clients. One of the things I love about working with Thrive is that they make it enjoyable to actually do work with them. It's not dry, it's usually fun, but it's always very enjoyable and practical. They give me things and ideas that I can put into place. It's not just some theoretical spiel that they give me. We get practical steps that we work on together to do my job better. So me personally, I would easily recommend Thrive 15 services to my friends, my families. I recommend them to my clients. I think they do a good job. They're passionate. They care about their clients. And I think it's actually a valuable service they provide to people that are in the business world.
My name is Jeff Thomas. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. It's all about getting to the grindstone. It is about it's one thing to have a specific vision or a dream, but knowledge without application isn't knowledge at all. That's nothing. Really funny. The atmosphere is very lively. Everybody that is working for Clay is very upbeat and not tired, not sluggish, not complaining, not whining. They don't have anything to do with those types of characteristics. It's all about getting to the grind and having fun while you do it. I haven't actually been to any conferences in the past, but what I will say from what I've seen on YouTube and what from other friends have told me is this isn't like a motivational kind of thing to just, hoo-hoo, rah-rah, get you motivated, but it's like practical steps that if you do take them, which most people aren't willing to do, then you will grow and you'll achieve the specific things that you want. Well, for one thing, I would say that this isn't necessarily for everyone. So if you're not willing to work, this isn't for you. But I will say that if you are willing to work and you're just getting started, but you have actually taken a step in that direction, then this will actually help you grow further exponentially than you could ever imagine.
My name is Taylor Hall. I'm the general manager of the Tulsa Oilers professional hockey team. Our goal every night here at the BOK Center is to try to fill the seats with lots of people and create an exciting environment so when somebody comes to a game, they want to come back. Working with Clay and the staff at Thrive, they've really helped us in many, many ways. Website and graphic design and video production and a lot of things that go along. And a lot of businesses, including ours, doesn't have a staff or a full-time videographer or graphic designer. But the biggest thing that we noticed was the needle mover. More sales, more attendance, more successes in business. We had a record year last season working with Clay for the first time. Our average attendance is higher than it's ever been. So there was a lot of really cool things that we did, and they worked. That's the nice thing about working with Clay and the team over there. It's just not one person, you get the entire team. If you need video design and editing and production, they've got that. If you need graphic design, if you need some coaching, your salespeople and call scripts, PR, they offer all that. Clay was instrumental in helping guiding us and getting us on the right track so that we could really raise the bar and become ultra successful. So it's been an amazing experience for us.
My name is Caitlin. I own a tumbling gym called Justice Tumbling Company in Tulsa. Working with Clay is so helpful, just being diligent with everything and making sure we execute our goals and just really make things happen. It's fun, it's hype, it really gets you energized and going, it just makes you really want to work. To get the momentum going, to really just get that buzz, just really give you the energy to get up and make it happen.
I'm Bob Healy. I'm in the charcoal grilling industry, and the name of my business is Grill Blazer. How will I apply what I've learned so far into my business? I'm actually a client of Thrive 15, and I learn so much from what I'm learning at this conference and from my regular weekly attendance that it's helping me establish the business and get it off the ground. Clay's presentation style is just blatant disregard for what anybody wants. He just has fun. It's him. Everything that you see is authentically Clay. It's a great deal of fun. Everybody enjoys it. They know when they walk in, they think they're coming into a carnival, and frankly, they are. It's just great fun. There's not another conference like it. You just don't go to a carnival atmosphere and learn like you do here at a Thrive conference. It's great. The reason people should attend at least one of these conferences is because it's common sense. And everybody's fed an entire line about the way you should run a business, but until you actually experience running a business, which is candidly what you learn here, how to run a business, you don't know what you're doing.
My name is Tyler Hastings, and this is my wife, Rachel, and our company is Delricht Research out of New Orleans. During our time working with Thrive, we've had numerous successes. When we first started, we were working with one physician. We had one research site, and we were seeing on average, between 10 and 15 patients a week. Since working with Thrive in the last 18 months, we now have 4 research sites. We work with over 5 physicians, and on average, we're now seeing over 60 patients per week. Recently, we've been the top enroller worldwide in 7 studies, which is just incredible considering where we were 2 years ago, 18 months ago.
Thrive really differs from the other conferences that we've been to and the other kind of programs that we've been through because they actually really practice what they preach, and they implement the same systems and the processes that they teach you about, and they give you real life examples that have really worked for them and show you with the training how to implement that yourself. For example, Tyler and I actually got the opportunity to come out to Tulsa, and we're fortunate enough that the Thrive team took us out to some of the businesses that they own, and we really got to see in real life, real time, some of the systems and processes, and it was just incredible. A real life example of some of the businesses and the things that they're implementing.
Having a coach is important to us. They act as not only an accountability factor, but they're someone we can talk to on a daily basis as we go through the problems of running a business that inevitably come up. They always understand what we're going through, and they're always there to help us or guide us through the problems that we experience. The best part of our experience working with Thrive has just been seeing our relationship grow. So at each step as our business grows, they have something else to provide us with. They've got the resources, whether it be marketing, graphic design, website development, or even into accounting practices. Maybe we need a new insurance policy. They have someone they can connect us with, or they have the direct resource we need to speak with for any of the problems we face. If someone's thinking about signing up for the coaching program, I would highly recommend that they call in for a free 30-minute coaching session and see exactly what the team can do for you. Just speak with someone, let them know what you're going through, and I think you'll find that, regardless of what you need, there's someone there that can help you.
Clay's presentation style is very real and raw. Like, it just gets real down to the bone of it and the real purpose of it. There's no, fluffy vagueness about it, So, he really gets to the point. I'm always reminded about how important it is to be intentional and to really pay attention to how you schedule your time and really honor it. Because whatever gets scheduled gets done. That's what he said from Lee Cockrell. So, just constantly hearing that and getting reminded helps me to reinforce that into my own life. It always helps to get an outside perspective, and especially from a guy that's grown so many multi-million-dollar businesses. It doesn't hurt. So.
My name is Nick Guajardo. I heard about the Thrive Time Show workshop through Andy Matherin. He is my Andy Matherin and Larry Montgomery. They're my bosses at Restore Home Health. So I work with a home health company called Restore Home Health, and my role is pretty much to bring in business. So I was hoping to learn kind of the sales process on top of just kind of the responsibilities and help understand what it looks like on the SEO side and just kind of an all around what it looks like to own a business, because that's something I want to do in the future for sure. How I would describe the atmosphere here at Thrive is high energy, great professionalism, great people. It's a place you definitely want to visit and be at. Clay's delivery style, humorous, professional, hilarious. He does it. I haven't seen someone do it better. So he does a great job. Most valuable thing I've learned so far, a lot of it has been extremely valuable. But one thing that's really stuck out to me is learning the SEO stuff. I mean, that is, I think, things you don't really even think about, and then you hear it, and you think you know it, but you don't know it. So I feel like that was the most valuable. Well, they're missing out on just what comes down to just basic applications to be a business owner. I mean, I feel like it's like an absolute necessity, to come here and learn the ins and outs, and maybe come here once and twice if they take good notes, that kind of thing. Why? It's the experience here and what you can learn. Like, absolutely.
So marketing and SEO seemed like something that would be very scary, but then in the way that Clay and his team described it, it became very clear and concise and something that's very accessible to any business owner. I've learned a lot about marketing at this conference and a lot about business management and HR, really everything, the key components of anybody's business. They're going to give you the best tools to be successful in it. So most workshops or conferences can be really boring, really one note, or they just seem so theatrical that it's a joke and it's not even giving you the tools that you need or that you came there for. But here it's still high energy, it's still fun, everything's to the point, but it's very professional, and you're missing out on easy steps to use in your business that are very accessible and very clear.
My name is Abigail McCarter. The best thing I've learned so far is definitely like organization, schedule-wise, always keeping a to-do list, keeping your calendar organized. I'm kind of all over the place, so that's always good to know. So Clay's presentation style and the atmosphere is electric. It's so energetic, it's so fun. Clay's hilarious, but also knows a ton, so it's just really great all around. This conference is much different than any other conference I've gone to, again, because it's fun. Like a lot of other conferences, it's like really quiet, really cold, and you're just kind of get bored. But this one, you're like always engaged, you're always learning something, and the staff is amazing. They're always super helpful, so it's just been really great.
My name's Clint Howard. We're a personal training and fitness training facility. Oh wow, I'm learning a ton. Like this morning so far has been search engine optimization. So really just the importance of being at the top of Google, how Google works and why it's so important to go out and get video reviews and testimonials and getting Google reviews. And so all those things we can take back and really apply that like immediately. So it's really cool to see not only how to do it, but really the relevance and the importance of it for your long-term strategy of your business. Now, it's amazing. Actually, on the way in this morning and yesterday, I was videoing as I was walking in the front entrance. And actually I go to a lot of seminars. I go to a lot of conferences, masterminds. I've been doing that since I was like 22 years old, so gosh, almost 20 years now. And this is by far the most entertaining. Not only the content's amazing, but Clay and you guys do a great job of mixing in edutainment, entertainment where it's fun, it's fresh, it's lively. You never get bored. And I heard a study one time that the reason that children learn so much quicker is because it's fun, learning is fun. And so obviously Clay has nailed that, where it's very fun to be here and keeps you awake, keeps you energized. So I'm having a blast. Yeah, I think any business owner or someone that wants to own a business or considering starting a business should definitely come. I know that I was referred here by friends of mine and clients of mine, and I've referred other people. Again, just to understand what it takes to make a business successful, to have a good time, obviously, like I was just saying, have fun, and network. There's a lot of other people here you can learn from, and there's a lot of breaks you can talk to other people. So I think this is a must-attend for anybody that owns a business or that wants to start a business.
My name's Jamie Fagel. I'm with Jameson Fine Cabinetry. I heard about the conference through Andrew. He's the coach that I deal with here at the Thrive. The most valuable piece I found, even working with Andrew, but it's been solidified when it came here, was you got to actually do the things that they're telling you. With no action, you're not going to get anything from it. I would highly recommend this to almost anybody in business today. I have recommended it to some of my other business partners. It's phenomenal. It's really something that if you want to start a business, the old way of doing things is gone. This is what you got to do. It's the only way it'll work.
Hey, this is Charles and Amber Koloff. We're the owners of Koloff Fitness.
The way we're able to do that is working with Clay for the last 3 years. He has really readjusted our thinking and taught us that our business is here to serve us. And by doing that, we're able to live the lifestyle we want and take off on a random vacation last minute. So we had totally planned on being at the conference. So wish we could be there and meet all of you. We know you're having a great time. So
yes, Clay in the last 3 years has helped us build all the necessary systems, checklists, workflows, task lists, time blocks, audits. that are always running and the right capable lieutenants to keep track of all that so that you too can get time freedom, financial freedom. And that's what we have done, and Clay has helped us do. We've got multiple companies in multiple states, and they're all doing very well, getting ready to go 2 more locations in this next year. And Koa Fitness has a really big future. We're teaming up with a couple other groups, and we should scale the company here shortly. Hopefully we'll open like 50 locations in the next 10 years. So, but yeah, we're on the way. We're gonna probably more than double our company, maybe triple our company in the next 8 to 9 months. And it's just awesome. God is working in our business, and we're making Jesus and changing lives. We're a strong Christian company that focuses on making Jesus famous and changing lives in the fitness field. And this is Charles and Amber Koa. Thank you, Thrive. Hit your action items. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We wish we were there. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
My name is Jennifer Johnson. I'm in the pest control industry and also weed control and fertilization, and my business is Platinum Pest and Lawn. Some of the things that I'll be able to apply a lot of the things that I've learned in our business because this is not my first conference, and so a lot of the things that we learned we've put into place, and now we're doing the next level of refining the processes or just the different concepts, and so it's getting better and better. Things that were just big processes before, we have the foundation laid, and now we're able to make it better and better, and I'm hearing different things now that we've implemented things, and so we can just make it even better implementing it into our own business. Clay's presentation and the atmosphere is very exciting and fun. It keeps you awake. It makes it interesting. You have a lot of information, but if it's not going to be entertaining, your brain is going to tune it out. But Clay makes it just entertaining enough that you retain what you learn. Lots of rhyming and catchy things so that you remember stuff. Something that makes this conference different than other workshops or conferences that I've been to is that there's a lot of people here in my same situation. Most of us are pretty small businesses wanting to improve, and we want real life information and something that will work and that's attainable and not just some crazy magic formula, but actual action items that we can implement in our business and actually see a difference. Everyone should attend a Thrive Time Business Conference, whether you're a business owner or not. If you're a business owner, it has practical applications that you can apply to so many different parts of your business, and then you need to come back for more so that you can keep doing more of the wonderful things that you learn. But secondly, I am also a mom of 3 kids, and a lot of the concepts can actually be applied to home, like getting routines and getting setting systems at home has just seriously made a huge difference in my life at home. So I've been able to improve our business, but I've also been able to improve things at home, and so that's why everyone should come, no matter what your station is in life.
Yeah, my name is Nolan Q. I'm originally from San Francisco, California. The industry that I'm in is financial services. I've learned a ton so far, but what I can best apply from this conference is the opportunity, that hunger to go out there and make a big difference in my industry. Clay's presentation style is amazing. He's got an endless amount of energy. It's contagious, and yeah, by being here, I really do want to go back and be able to face all the adversity that the industry has. Yeah, this conference, the thing that makes it different is it's special because it has a unique set of individuals that all share that same energy. I think he pegs it as dragon energy, but yeah, that's the case. Everyone should come to multiple, but their first would be very special. Yeah, you're welcome with a lot of enthusiasm. That'll last for a long time.
My name is Gabriella Cruz. Our business is ECS Electric. My husband's the owner, but I'm involved with that, and so we're an electrical company. Well, here at the conference they talk a lot about consistency, and so just staying consistent with different things in the business, and I feel like applying that to our business model will really help us grow. The atmosphere is very positive, uplifting, and then it's very fun and energetic, and so it gets you pumped and it gets you excited, and it encourages you to do big things. Probably how real they are. They tell you up front what you need to do and what's like a no-go, and some conferences they kind of sugarcoat things, so I like how real they are here. I think it'll definitely, if you want your business to grow, I think this would be a great experience, and then not only that, it'll encourage you and inform you on so many things you don't think about on a daily basis.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, you know, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, you know. The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall, and she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to leave with is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house. Right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that You guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kolaw. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. my husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due, and Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old, but I've never had the two-time Heisman Award-winning Tim Tebow come present. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built a $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He has inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong, because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times best-selling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when? June 27th and 28th. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping EOFire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home, to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day. And now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time, super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time with more enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done this show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed, to the business owner, to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for changing my life.
Well, not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. It is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence, that businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. There's stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working, and it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business. Bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing. I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow a business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business to how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Clay really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.